If you're watching this video right now, that means that you are an athlete who is thinking about ways to make more money. Now, that's good because you're in the right spot. I'm Courtney Steven, and I am an ex professional athlete. I played in the Canadian Football League for 7 years. And one of the things that I did while I was playing was start a training business that ended up making six figures. And that was something I started doing from my bedroom when I was living with roommates. All I had was some spreadsheets and an internet connection and my cell phone, and we figured it out. And for you, instead of waiting 4, 5, 6 years and losing a lot of money and trying to figure out how to do that on your own, or maybe even never reaching that amount of money, that kind of income, I'm going to give you the blueprint that I used, and I'll give it to you at a high level pretty quickly here so that you know exactly what the steps are that I took that helped me make six figures, basically selling my skills. Ultimately, when you're a pro athlete, it doesn't matter if you're an all-star, a superstar, it doesn't matter if you were all American, what school you went to. There are people everywhere that would pay money to learn from you. So that's what I'm going to do right here. If you're in the right spot, buckle up. What I want you to do is close the other windows of your computer and put your phone on silent. Just push it to the side because I'm going to teach you some stuff that can potentially take you from where you're at to a completely different level in your entrepreneurial journey. But I want you to lock in so that you can get the most out of this. So put your phone on silent, close all those other windows. If you got a notepad, get it out. Um, Maybe take some physical notes, not even on the computer. Write these ones down, and we're gonna run down the top things that I did, um, over and over again, repeated things that helped me make six figures selling my skills. You ready for this? Okay, let's get into it. So this is the question that a lot of people ask themselves at some point in time or another. How are you going to use your playing experience to earn money when your playing days are over? Now, when I finished playing football, I had the blessing to play 7 seasons over a course of 8 or 9 years. And when I was done, a lot of my peers had been out of school for a long time. Their resumes were already stacked up. So they were in the career fields, they were progressing. And for me, I was looking for ways that I could make some additional cash. Now, luckily, before I even got to that point, I had started out coaching on the sides and training people as somewhat of a side hustle, but it started to grow and blossom. And the things that came from that were really awesome because I added skills to my resume and experience to my resume that allowed me to get a job in the corporate world. So that's a byproduct I wasn't even planning for. But starting up a training business was something that gave me more than just money. It gave me opportunities. It gave me network. Um, and it gave me a chance to just sharpen my skills and reduce the amount of anxiety in dealing with that bridge of what's going to happen when I'm done playing. So, yes, you can make some quick money here. You can make some big money here, or you can just build a bridge that's going to help you navigate that transition to when you inevitably stop playing sports. Now, for a lot of people, that transition comes earlier. You might finish playing your last play of basketball, soccer, football. It might be in college, but regardless of when it is, or if it's already come, you can still leverage the skills and the experience that you've gained to earn money right now, whether that becomes your primary income or a side income. And here's the reason why. There are so many people across Canada and the United States of America who are looking for your leadership. The things that you have done, the things that you have seen, the places you have been, and the things you've experienced, they want to hear from you. You only have to be a few steps ahead of somebody to be able to be of value to them in teaching them things. So, some stats that would show you that there is a market for somebody like you in your situation right now. There are 500,000 college athletes between Canada and the United States. 500,000. There's a lot of college athletes. As a matter of fact, there are over 8 million athletes in high school in Canada and the US. Obviously, mainly those are in the United States, but there's still a very healthy amount, over 700,000 high school athletes in Canada. And in the NCAA, new rules have made it so that there are more scholarships for every single sport than there used to be. In football, there used to be 85 scholarships in the Division One level, and now there are over 100 scholarships for every single team. That means that with the same size roster at every school, there are more people getting full rides and getting their education paid for. And not just in football, but in all of the sports, track and field, swimming, all the way down the line. So that means more people are going to be able to earn their scholarships and earn the right to have their education paid for at the next level. And another thing too is domestically, where I'm at here in Canada, you can also get full ride scholarships for the first time. Believe it or not, you can finally stay in Canada or go to school in Canada and get a full ride. This is something that was not possible before. So, what does that all mean? It means there's a lot of young athletes who are hungry for somebody with your skills that you behind the computer, they want what you have. They want to know how you got to where you're at. So there is a market for your skills if you know how to package them up properly. So, what do all athletes need? The thing that all these people we just talked about, yes, it's obvious by now, it's coaching. Okay, so that's the business here that we're going to walk you through. I think I've made it pretty clear that there is a market for this. There's a demand for it. You are uniquely qualified to teach because of the experience that you've had. And so, right here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to build a coaching business. There's, I say, 6 main ingredients. And in this short video, I'm going to go through each of these ingredients so that you know exactly what steps to take so that you can go from understanding how to make big plays to teaching other people how to make big plays and getting them to pay you for it. Now, if that's something that you're into, if you're looking how to make money, and I'm not just talking about a couple $100, I'm talking about real money. You know, I made over 6 figures doing this exact same thing, and that's what I am here to teach you today. So I'm going to give you the high level. We'll go through it quickly, and hopefully you'll learn something that you can take from this and build on it. Here are the 6 things that you need: a program, athletes, of course, a marketing plan, a sales system, a financial plan, and business processes. So let's just start at the very top. How do you get these athletes? Well, first of all, you have to identify your ideal client. Now, the client that you are going to coach might be different than the one that I'm going to coach, might be different than the one that your teammate's going to coach. And as your business progresses, you can have multiple different types of clients that you're going to serve, but you got to start out with one. And who is that ideal client? Is the person that you would be able to serve best, that you would enjoy coaching the most, who is willing and able to pay you. So you have to think of, how old is this person? What skill level is this person? And more importantly than that, in order to be able to speak to this person and meet them where they are, you need to understand what motivates them, what challenges them, and what obstacles they need to get past. So we'll break this one down even further. Motivation. What exactly do they want to accomplish? Some people are highly driven by reaching pro sports. Other people want to make money. There's different things that move people, right? But everybody is either being pulled or pushed. If you're being pushed, that means you're trying to get away from something. So there's probably something that is adverse that you want to get out of your life. Maybe you have a situation at home that you're not really a fan of if you're an athlete and you want to go and live on your own and travel and go to a school that's far away. Cool. That's great. Maybe you never really had a lot of money and sports is the way for you to actually put some money in your pocket. Cool. That's awesome too. Or on the other end, maybe there's something that's pulling you, like you really love the spotlight and playing on those Friday nights when the whole school comes out and the biggest stages are something that really inspire you. Awesome. That's pulling you in. Whatever it might be, you need to be able to understand what were the things that you at your stage were motivated by, what was pushing you or what was pulling you, and your ideal client, what's motivating them, like what's pushing them and what's pulling them, so that later on you can speak to them in their language. Now, that's the motivation. That's what they want to accomplish. They want to play college football, and the reason why they want to play college football. They want to go pro in basketball, and the reason why they want to go pro in basketball. They want to get a scholarship, and the reason why they want a scholarship. Cool. Now, there's obviously challenges that are, you know, the things that are standing between them now and where they want to go. So they might not necessarily know all the information of how to get a scholarship. Like, how do I even really market myself as an athlete? Well, there's an opportunity for you as somebody who's already walked this path to tell that story. Well, I had to make a highlight tape. Okay, cool. How do I make a good highlight tape? There's some information you can share. Now, how do I work out in the gym? This is how you work out in the gym. That's information you can share. They may also need some skills. They might need to be able to catch, tackle, backpedal, speed turn. They might need to be able to, ground. I don't know. I don't play baseball, but maybe able to catch a outfield ball. They might be able to need to be able to throw a curveball. They might be able to need to be able to serve in tennis, right? Or hit a backhand. Those are skills that you can train people on. Or they might need resources, like they might need a place to go train, and they don't have that right now, but you could provide that. So it really comes down to the three things that you could provide that they have a challenge with right now. So it's either information, skills, or its resources. And if you can fill those gaps, then that is going to be valuable for you. So you're understanding what's motivating them, you're understanding what challenges they have, and then you have to understand their obstacles, which is the thing that's standing between them right now and solving the challenge that they have. So why wouldn't somebody just go out and get the information that they need? Well, maybe they don't have access to mentors. So there's no mentor that can come and provide that information to them. Great. So now you're going to use this information later on when it's time for you to market and sell your program. But first, you're understanding your ideal client on a deeper level. Why wouldn't somebody have a place to train? Maybe they live far away from a field or a gym, or maybe where they live, it's cold outside and there's not a lot of indoor spaces. So they need to pay to go somewhere where they can train inside in the wintertime. Or maybe there's not a lot of other athletes that they know of who are striving for the same thing that they could work out around. That's an obstacle, and you're going to bring that group of people together. So you're really trying to identify what are the challenges and why are they not solving these challenges themselves already? Because that's going to help you craft your message so that you can go out and get these athletes. Now, once you've identified who the athlete is, you move on to step number two, which is developing the program. The program, there's varying degrees of programs. There's programs that are good, there's programs that are bad, there's programs that are amazing, and everywhere in between. A great program has three main components. Now, write this down. This will bless you, I promise. So there are the format of your program is the first thing you need to decide. And there are three guiding questions for these three components: the format, the theme, and the curriculum. When it comes to the format, you got to ask yourself, do I want to run a one-off event? Is this like a weekend jamboree? Is this something I do over March break, 5 days? Is this something I do seasonally where I'm going to run it for the entire winter or the entire spring, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 8 weeks? You need to decide how big of a piece you want to chew, a bite off to chew for this project. Are I are you going to commit to a multiple months, many sessions, or is this going to be one thing that you're doing one time? That's where you begin. Then once you decide the format, you're going to decide on the theme. And the guiding question here is, do you want to offer skill development, speed, agility, quickness, which is like general athletic training? Do you want to do strength training, which is more so towards the gym and lifting, resistance training, etc.? Or do you want to offer mentorship? Those are the four ways that training breaks down. There's other ways, but not really. Those are the four main ways that you're going to train people. You're either going to give them skills, general athleticism, speed, agility, quickness. You're going to give them strength training or mentorship. You need to pick one or a combination of the four. Now, I think when you're starting out, it's always easiest to go with skills or general athletic training, speed, agility, and quickness because it requires the least amount of equipment and you can probably do it at a facility that costs sometimes $0, like at a public park. It's where I've done a lot of training. I've also done training at facilities that have cost me tens of thousands of dollars and everywhere in between. But you need to start where you are with what you have and do what you can. So you figured out now what the format you want to run is. Okay, we're going to do an 8 week program because I think it would be cool to do something to fill the gap between, January and March break. Great. Now you figured out the theme. You're going to do speed, agility, and quickness, and you're going to do some skills and drills because that's what you're really good at and you feel like you have some experience there. That's like what you're good at because you want to stay true to who you are. You're going to have to be able to do this stuff for a long time. And now you have to develop the curriculum. And this is what separates the good programs from the great programs because the great programs not only have a plan for each practice, but they have a plan for what your athletes are going to leave the program with. So at the end of going through your program, how do you want them to be different? What's the transformation you want them to experience? What skills do you want them to have? And I call these learning objectives. If you write down all the learning objectives you want them to walk away with, then you can take that list and you can break it up over the course of your 8 weeks or however long you've chosen to run your program. And you can make sure that they're working towards hitting each of those different skills or learning objectives over the course of time that they're with you. Now, we would have to spend a whole nother video just talking about the details on that. But if you can understand what's the learning objectives of where you're going, that will help you build a program that I promise you no one else in your area is running because very few people look at this in that detailed of a way. So, are you with me? I hope you're with me. Now it's time to put together your marketing plan, which has 5 components: your profile, the proof, your pipeline, packaging, and then the promotion. So I'm just going to tell you what these are at a high level so that you can understand and get started on it. The profile is basically you and your business. Why should people listen to you? So you're going to want to put together some things that are going to help edify you, give you credibility, and show people why they should listen to you. And this shouldn't be hard. If you've been playing sports at any level, doesn't matter if it's college, if you've been playing in pro football, I say football all the time because I played football. If you've been playing pro sports, that's easy. If you've been playing college sports, that's also easy. All you have to think of is the fact that I'm reaching back to somebody who is one step behind me. They could be more steps behind you, but you don't have to be a Hall of Fame player to have something to offer. Also, if you've done any investment into yourself to learn more, or you've gone and done things that are really unique, like traveled and played overseas, maybe you've had a certain amount of time, just tell that story and have a profile where people can find you. Usually that's on social media. You could build a website, you could do whatever you want, but just build your own profile so that you have some credibility. The second thing you're going to have to do is develop some proof. So proof that you know what you're doing. So if you have a big enough profile, people will assume that because of your playing that you can also coach. So the proof can be in the pudding of you being a great player, great athlete. If you don't have highlights, if you don't have videos of yourself playing, then go out and guest coach. That is the gem right there. Go in your community somewhere and work with people. Just go out there for free and work with people, and that will be your proof. You can get them to give you testimonials, you can record videos, but just go out and coach for free, and that will be your proof. Over time, you'll develop some credibility that way. Now, while you're doing that, guest coaching and those other things are going to help develop these pipelines. And a pipeline is basically somewhere where you can get more than one client at one time. So it's all great to do the one-on-ones, which I think you're going to have to do. And it's mandatory to go and try and sell people one-on-one sooner or later. But whenever you can develop a pipeline, you're using leverage, which means you can go somewhere where people who have something in common get together and you can recruit all of them at the same time with one message because they are there for a common purpose. So tapping into pipelines, getting familiar with group leaders and being introduced to groups is a way for you to efficiently meet the most people the fastest. And I think one hack to doing this is guest coaching. If you can guest coach, I promise that is the greatest way to get your coaching business off the ground fastest. Next, you've got to build a package. All right. So now I have this coaching program. How do I package it up in something that's easy for people to understand and make a decision about relatively quickly? Okay. So maybe you give it a name. I called my program when I ran it, I called it Overtime Football. Overtime Football. Cool. What's Overtime Football? It's a youth athletic development program. Okay. So that says a lot in a little, but at least now people understand if I'm in the right direction for them. They can at least ask me the question or say the phrase, tell me more. That's what you want to do with the way you package your program. You want people to say, okay, this sounds like something I'm interested in. Tell me more. So develop a name and develop a package. The package is what you do, who you do it for, and then when you put it together, you're also going to have a price. You're going to have the length of time, the commitment, and what people are going to get out of it. It's just like any product you buy. When you look at the wrapper, it tells you what's inside. This is what you're going to do for your program. It's going to tell people what's inside so they can look at it and they can determine if this is for them. If you want more details on that, we'll have to save that for another episode. But then the promotion is you taking that package and putting it through the pipelines that you've developed and sharing it with as many people as possible. Now, here's when it comes to making sales. You have this product that you've packaged up and you're promoting it. Then what happens? This is what I've done. And this is where you really go from making a few $100s to $100,000. Your ability to scale up the communication of what's inside the package that you are delivering, the value you're providing, from one-on-one conversations to driving lots of traffic from the internet to a website where people can learn about something and express interest. They can fill out a form, and on that form give you their contact information, and then from there you're going to follow up with them with some emails. And there's really three specific emails that you need to write in order to get people to buy things from you. And I'm not going to go into all the details right here, but there's not like 100 emails to write. There's really only three specific emails. And you can just think of it as, telling people you have something that's coming, using some urgency to get them to move, and then making sure that the people who are on the fence are getting off of the fence. You're going to send them a couple emails. That's going to get people to buy. And then for the stragglers, you need to have a third strategy, which is what are you going to say to people when you get them on the phone? Because some people are going to buy off your website. Some people are going to click through from one of your emails and buy. And then there's a third group of people who they're going to show interest, but they're not going to follow up with you. So you're going to have to follow up with them. And that can be very valuable because sometimes the hardest customers to sell end up being your greatest ambassadors in the long run. So your sales strategy is built off of your marketing strategy. But when you're able to automate the way that you sell, that's when you go from making hundreds to making hundreds of thousands of dollars in this business. I'll go into deeper detail on this in other videos if you feel like this is something you're interested in. But for now, stay with me. So, where does the rubber meet the road? Because you're one person, you're trying to start a business, but this is really hard sometimes. It seems like there's a lot. Well, I'll tell you, the systems are what separate side hustles from serious businesses. I say that again. Systems separate side hustles from serious businesses. And there's three main standard operating procedures, or what I just call procedures, that you need to build in your business. You need to have some way to manage your customers. So there could be a tool like HubSpot. It's one that you could use. It's free for the first little while and up to a certain size, but that's just a platform where if people, you put their information in, you could see how much money they spent with you. You could send them emails, and if you call them, you could record some information. So you could just see all the different touch points you had with this person over your relationship with them. It's good to keep track of all of your different relationships and how much people have spent with you and what communications you had with them, so that each time you talk to somebody, you can jog your memory and see where you left off and make sure that you keep bringing them down the road to the next place they need to go in their customer journey. Now, You need to have operating procedures. That's a second type of SOPs or a second type of procedures you need to have in your business. And operating procedures might be what happens when somebody comes to your camp for the first time? What happens every day at your camp or your program? What happens at the end of your program? Do you run a debrief? Do you collect surveys of the people who've attended so you can improve? How do you get referrals? Maybe there's a process of after your sessions are completed, you send out an email that collects people's feedback and asks for a referral. Whatever it is that would make your business successful, it is worth documenting that and making it something that if you wanted to, you could hand it to somebody else and they could help you with it. Once you get to that point, you're scaling the things that you do best or scaling the things that you do well to somebody else so that they can do them for you. Now that's another way to take your business from a couple hundred to 100,000. And when you do take your business from a couple hundred to 100,000, it'll be even more imperative and important that you have a system or standard operating procedure to manage your money. So there's a few different financial documents that you got to have, but you definitely need to be tracking all the money coming in and all the money coming out. And if you can do that, you can keep score. And believe you me, in the business world, money is the score. That's the object of the game. You got to know how much you're making and how much you're losing. So, I mean, we went through a lot of things and we went through pretty quickly, but at a high level, this is how you run a business. This is how you run a coaching business. You need to figure out who's the athlete you want to coach. All right. Then you need to build a program for that athlete. Then you need to build a plan to promote yourself and promote the program that you're going to package up and give to these athletes so that they know it's available. And then once you've made it available to them, make it easy for them to buy from you, either online or let them express interest so you could follow up with emails or phone calls. And then once you've done that, you need to just have the systems to manage those relationships, to run the programs, and to count the money when it comes in. And I've done this. I did it for 6 years. And I told you, I made a lot of money. And I work in a place in sports where I get to be around a lot of athletes, and most athletes have coached in some capacity before. It's not something that is foreign to us because we've been in sports our whole lives. And the little things that you know from experience are valuable, so valuable to people that you should share them. You would share them for free. Why not share them and get paid? And this doesn't mean you have to become a full time coach or this has to be your life's calling. But if you have skills that other people would pay to learn about, why would you not use them? Leverage your experience while you can, especially in your hometown where maybe there's not a lot of people doing this. And there's probably a lot of kids who are looking for somebody like yourself to just step up and show them the way because maybe they could do it better than you. They could probably do it better than me. A lot of the kids that I coached have done better than me and gone on further than me. And it makes me feel really cool and proud to be a part of their journey. So, if this is something that you're very interested in learning more about, I would love to be in touch with you and help you out. I just wanted to share this one and give it away because I did well for myself with this. And like I said, this was a launching pad for me in my career. I was able to make some money on the side while I was playing in the off seasons, but then also setting up a business gave me experience to put on my CV. So I was able to break into the sports industry after I was done playing. So you never know what will come from starting up your own coaching business. Your network will grow. And of course, your influence will grow and you're doing something good while you're at it. Never feel bad about adding value back into the world. If you want to learn more about this, reach out to me, shoot me an email if you have any questions, and we can go a little bit further on some of these topics. And of course, if you really want me to help you out, then I'd be happy to. But for now, these are the steps. If you're thinking about starting your own coaching business, get off of the fence and just start doing it. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Courtney Stephen, and this is how you sell your skills. I'm telling you, these same steps took me to six figures off of backpedaling and breaking. It's that easy. They gave you a ball, you played with it, you learned some stuff, and now you got to pass it on, play it forward. You might as well get paid for it.